Hari Om. Hello, dear children. Good morning. Wish you all the best. Have a nice day. We are dealing with Unit 1. We have completed with the prose part. His First Flight, written by Liam O'Flaherty. The poem Life by Henry Van Dyke. Under the same concept. Today we are going to do with the supplementary The Tempest, one of the greatest drama written by William Shakespeare. Hope I am not boring you children because it is based on the same concept. We are dealing with the basic qualities to achieve success. We have already learnt in the first lesson, first of all, we will have to be bold and daring enough to face all the challenges that we come across our life, for which we will have to have faith, be determined, have complete commitment and involvement, and perseverance. Perseverance is a key to success and it's a key to everything. We need plenty of positivity to achieve whatever we do. Now let us do with this Tempest. This is actually an extract from Charles Lamb's Tales from Shakespeare. It's an interesting drama. The lesson is in the form of a drama and we have too many characters. The lesson deals with the qualities like patience and perseverance, and apart from that we come across a number of characters with various qualities. First, I think you'll have to listen to the story and then we'll once again consolidate the key points so that you will remember the story better. Today we are dealing with The Tempest, the supplementary of the Unit 1, an extract from Charles Lamb's Tales from Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is an English poet, playwright and actor. He is regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist of all time. He is often called England's national poet and bard of Avon. His work consists of approximately 37 plays, 154 sonnets, 2 long narrative poems. The play The Tempest was written between 1610 and 1611. Many critics and historians believe it to be one of the last plays of William Shakespeare. It is considered as one of the Shakespeare's well-written plays. It is believed that the play The Tempest was based on an actual wreck of a ship called Sea Venture of Bermuda that was headed to Virginia. Hope all of you are aware of this Bermuda Triangle, which seems to be a very mysterious place, and this is a story based on that, a shipwreck only. And there is a strong evidence that Shakespeare used elements of the story of the wreck. Now, just listen to the story. Prospero, the Duke of Milan, was more interested in reading books and in the art of magic. He trusted his brother Antonio and asked him to look after his affairs in the kingdom. But Antonio overthrew Prospero out of the kingdom with the help of King of Naples. Prospero reached an island with his 3-year-old daughter and stayed there for 12 years. Their only companions were Ariel, a magical spirit that Prospero released from Sycorax, a witch, and Caliban, the son of Sycorax, enslaved by Prospero. A ship with the King of Naples, Antonio, and other nobles was wrecked in a sea storm created by the spirit Ariel under the magic art of Prospero. He destroyed the ship and dispersed the passengers across the island. Prospero instructed Ariel to be invisible and spy on them. He also gets Ariel to lead Ferdinand so that he meets Miranda and fall in love. Before the arrival of Ferdinand, Prospero tells his daughter of the misdeeds of his brother Antonio and the King of Naples. Though he had no intention of hurting them, he wanted them to realize their mistake and repent. As planned, Ferdinand stumbles across Miranda and they fall in love. They even decide to marry. Prospero warns Miranda off and decided to test Ferdinand's loyalty. He made Ferdinand carry out menial tasks, but he found his labor pleasant because of Miranda. The rest of the shipwrecked crew grieved for their loss of their loved ones. Their search went in vain. The nobles of the ship thought the spellbound men were suffering from the guilt of their past actions and promised to ensure their safety. Ariel led the lords to Prospero, and they stood in trance before him. Ariel roused them, and they begged forgiveness. Prospero granted, and he was restored to his dukedom. Ferdinand and Miranda were then revealed to them to their happiness. At the end of the play, Ariel was asked to provide good weather to guide the king's ship back to the royal fleet and then to Naples, where Ferdinand and Miranda got married. Thus, the story ends happily. Prospero pardons Antonio for his disloyalty. The Duke regains his dukedom, and his daughter was married to Ferdinand. Now, this is the gist of the story you have just listened. Now, I want you to just go through the slides along with the explanation so that you will do it. First, let us deal with the main characters. Prospero. Prospero was an old man. He was a rightful Duke of Milan, Miranda's father, Antonio's brother. He was overthrown by his brother Antonio when Miranda was 3 years old. So, they had fled to an island where nobody lived. Next character is Miranda. Miranda is a beautiful young lady because the story takes place after 12 years. Beautiful young lady, Prospero's daughter. Then you have Sycorax. Sycorax, an evil witch. Caliban's mother. Ariel. Ariel is a good spirit who was imprisoned by Sycorax, released by Prospero, and he is a chief of gentle spirits. You have Caliban. Caliban, an ugly monster, son of Sycorax. Then you have King of Naples, Prospero's enemy, Ferdinand's father. Ferdinand, Prince of Naples. You have a Gonzalo, another character who had helped Prospero in reaching an island and leading a hidden life for 12 years. And actually, it was not a revenge taken over his brother, it's only to make him realize. Gonzalo had helped him a lot, and he is a kind lord of Prospero's court. Now, we're going to the key points. That is, we are just going to the storyline once again. Prospero and his daughter Miranda came to an island and they lived in a cave. Their only companions were Ariel. When he went there to the cave, he realized that the gentle spirits were imprisoned in the bodies of large trees by a witch. Prospero released these gentle spirits using his magical powers, and he was made the chief of all these gentle spirits. Prospero raised a violent storm in the sea to wreck the ship of his enemies. He ordered Ariel to torment the inmates of the ship. Ariel was instructed to bring Ferdinand, the Prince of Naples, to his cave. Ferdinand was the second whom Miranda had seen on the island after her father. Prospero wanted to test Ferdinand and gave a severe task to perform. Miranda was attracted by Ferdinand and had more concern towards him. The King of Naples and Antonio repented the injustice they had done to Prospero. Prospero forgave them and restored his dukedom, Milan. Then Miranda was married to Ferdinand. All is well that ends well. Again, I've come to the qualities. Yes. Prospero had waited patiently for 12 years, just thinking over of how to make his brother realize his mistakes there. Miranda, who had seen only her father, after seeing Ferdinand, how she fell in love. Sycorax, an evil spirit. Ariel, a gentle spirit, a good spirit. Caliban, who suffers a difficult task because of his mother Sycorax. King of Naples, enemy of Prospero, who had helped Antonio to take his position there as a Duke of Milan. Ferdinand, Prince of Naples, who realizes his father's mistakes and takes Miranda in marriage. Gonzalo, the kind lord of Prospero's court. So I think we have just finished with the first unit. Though we have done with the prose, poem and supplementary, we have seen they are woven around the same concept. We have learnt the qualities that you will have to develop. And don't ever forget, failures are the stepping stones to success. Let us not bother about the failure. Let us not have fear. Be bold enough and develop that courage to fight the obstacles that we come across. And as Henry Van Dyke says, life is an adventure and we'll have to face it boldly, so that we'll be doing with an absolute, determined and faithful life. Today, children, I think we'll just continue with the grammar part that we have done yesterday. I had just given you the introduction to active and passive voice. We have seen voice as a form of a verb which refers to the mood of a person. We have two types here, active and passive. In the active voice, the subject of the sentence, the person, animal or thing performing the action verb. In the passive voice, the subject of the sentence is either not present or is the object of a preposition, and it uses a helping verb. We have seen some of the examples yesterday, and today let us see the examples given here. First, let us do with this active form. I have already given you what is an active sentence. Active sentence is nothing but the action done by the subject and passed on to the object. Here we have this active voice. One should respect one's elders. One can be anybody, a person, and here it refers to everyone here. One, everyone will have to respect. Should respect is the verb, whom are elders. So the structure of an active sentence is subject plus verb plus object. This is what we had seen in the previous slide. Action done by the subject. When it is transformed into a passive form, look at the verb getting transformed into a participle. How it is? See, it should take an auxiliary and get transformed into a participle. One, elders has become the subject now, and everyone, one refers to everyone here. Elders should be respected. See, the passive voice, the subject of the sentence is either not present or is the object of a preposition. It uses a helping verb. Should be respected. Should respect is transformed into should be respect. That is a participle here. And I told you the verbs are not always the same. We have three conditions: past, present and future, and each can be expressed by four forms: simple, continuous, perfect, perfect continuous. Now I want you to go through this table given here. We have the active and the passive form for the simple present, present continuous, present perfect, simple past, past continuous, past perfect, simple future, future with be, going to and modal verbs. Now look at the sentences given in the example sentences. Simple present. Look at the structure of the sentence. They speak German in Austria. They, subject, speak. I think the verbs are highlighted there in a different color. Speak is a simple present form of verb. Speak what? German. Where is an additional information? In Austria. If you want to transform this into a passive form, you will have to go for the 3 rules here. Your subject becomes your object and your object becomes your subject. So you have the interchange or swapping the positions of they and German. German and speak is transformed into its participle. Speak is changed into is spoken. Simple present is transformed into present participle. Participle is third form of verb. It usually ends with en, et. It is a derived form. German is spoken in Austria. This is a pattern. Now try to understand the rules there. Yesterday itself I have given you the structure of an active sentence, S plus V plus O. And the second, you will have to see to the tense of the verb. A tense could be simple present or past, a present continuous or past continuous, or future form. Now they will have to get transformed into their respective participles. Speak is a simple present, so it is changed into the present participle is spoken. Coming to the next sentence, they are planting. Are planting should be considered as a single verb there. Are planting, that is a continuous form. Some trees. So some trees are being planted. So you'll have to split the verb planting into being plus planted. Present perfect. Someone has eaten my muffin. My muffin has been eaten. Someone, it is understood. We do not know who's a person, so we can just leave it. See, these are the conditions for the simple present form. See, the verbs are not standard there. It depends upon the condition that we use there. If it is simple present, it has been changed into present participle. If it is a continuous participle, and if it is a perfect participle. At the same time, we'll have to see to the agreement, the subject and the verb agreement. They is a plural form of subject and speak. They, again taking, are planting. Someone, it refers to a single person, has eaten. Any sentence where the has, had, have is identified to be a perfect sentence. It's already over. The work is completely over. Someone has eaten my muffin. Now I hope you understand the changes there. Speak, simple present form. Are planting is a continuous form, present continuous, and has eaten. So we have learned the 3 changes that we'll have to understand. First of all, you'll have to understand the active sentence has a structure S plus V plus O. Whenever the verb takes an object, it is a transitive verb. Only such verbs, only such sentences are called active sentences, and only those sentences can be converted into a passive form. This is the first thing. Second, the verbs are not always in the same condition. They keep changing. They are either simple present, past, or future, and based on that, the verbs will have to be changed into their respective participles. And the third one will have to do with the adjustment between the subject and the object. So now I think the first 3 statements are very clear to you, because we have used the simple form of verb, simple continuous form, and the simple present perfect. Just we'll do with the past form here. Simple past. They closed the road for a day. How will you identify a past form of verb? Generally, it is given by the ends like ed, t, etc. They closed the road for a day. They, subject, close, verb, the road. So now you have the passive form. Your object has become your subject, the road. They, for a day. By them. They becomes your them there. And close. Look at the change in close there. Close is your past form of verb, and it is transformed into its past participle. They take the be verbs. So we have already given you the rule that the passive form will have to take their be verbs there. Be verbs. You know what are the be verbs? What is the function of a be verb? Be verb give you the time of action. It is a close. It refers to the past action, and therefore the closed is changed into a past participle, was closed for a day. Past continuous. he was not feeding his dogs. Now you'll have to see to the object. Object is in the plural form. He is a singular form, dogs. His dogs. So he singular form, you have the verb was there. When you have changed the object to the subject's position, you have the plural form there. Automatica, you have the changes there. Was has become were. And then it's a continuous form where feeding is split into being fed, where not being fed. And perfect form, someone had put out the fire before the fire brigade arrived. Past perfect sentences you will have to be clear because they have two actions here. One is a complete action that is already over when the second had taken place. The first action will always have to hold this perfect form. The fire had been put out before the fire brigade. So only after the fire had been put out, the fire brigade had arrived. Okay, now you have two actions here. Be thorough of where you will have to add this perfect form. Someone had put out the fire before the fire brigade arrived. It's a continuous form. Or whenever you have this perfect form, it gets changed into a continuous form. The fire had been put out before the fire brigade arrived. Hope you are thorough with this past form there. It's only the nature of the verb you will have to see here. Speak, closed. You talk about the simple present, you talk about the simple past, and how they are converted into their respective participles. Remember, whenever you are converting an active into a passive, don't forget to add the be verbs. The be verbs like is, am, are, was, were, because they give you the time of action. So it is a must that you'll have to add, and thereafter close itself is in the past form only, and the participle of closed is closed only. Now coming to this future form, they will fine you for littering. Will fine, you will be fined. Yeah, it is a future act there. Definitely you will be fined for littering. You will be fined for littering. Always have, be sure whenever you are doing with the future form, it will have to have be with it. The future forms like will, shall, all these forms will have to add be with it to give the the sense as it is. They will fine you for littering. You will be fined for littering. They are going to raise taxes. Of course, you'll have to understand the economy has gone down because of this corona and all that, and naturally there will be a hike in everything. They are going to raise taxes. Taxes are going to be raised. You can solve the problem. The problem can be solved. Okay, try to understand the nature of the verbs and what you have to do while changing the active form of verb into a passive form of verb. It's an easy form, and I have already given you rules of what you'll have to follow in our regular classes. You have maintained a grammar notebook and you have just jotted down all this. Once again, just go through the rules and try to convert the sentences given in your lesson, the back of the lesson. Don't forget to do your regular homework. And once again, I'd like to remind you that you'll be doing with your unit test. And that is all for today. Meet you later. Thank you, children.